What's shaking its bacon, and today Bungie had its second Taken King related stream. And in this stream, we got to see them take on a strike taking place in the Dreadnaught of Mercury. And it was pretty short. I mean, I don't know if it was legit the shortest stream, but it felt like the shortest stream. It didn't really have that much substance to it, honestly. There were a few little things and one major thing that stood out, but beyond that, it was just a strike. Now, what we got to see was them focus on the subclasses, the new subclasses that are coming to the game. So beyond that, we got to hear about what's called a relic. And this was shown to us multiple times, but never scrolled over or never given an explanation, even in last week's stream, which really didn't make sense that they didn't show it, but whatever. But yes, it's called a relic. And this relic will give you, it'll have stats of its own as well. And it also comes with a perk. And this isn't a cosmetic thing. It does not show up on your character at all. It's just an add-on, I'd say. It's just something else to put on your character, I'd say. But yeah, that was interesting, I guess. We actually got to hear the new voice of the ghost in action. And we did hear this in the teaser for this Twitch stream, but the teaser didn't really have much to offer. So I was contemplating making a video on it, but there really wasn't anything. I would just be telling you, oh, we heard his voice, and that's it. So there was not really a point in doing that. And I see why. Like, you have to run with your instincts, because this stream, it was so empty. Like, there was no juice. There was no depth to it. But I guess that's okay, because the Taken King seems like it's going to have a lot of depth that they can't really cover. They don't want to, like, ruin the surprise for a lot of things. And there's a lot of things that we'll be grinding for that you can't really show in a Twitch stream. So I understand. But I was expecting this strike to at least be like some crazy havoc, some interesting things. But despite everything they were saying, it still felt and looked like just a strike. It just seemed like it had a different layout. And maybe they're trying to do that certain layout with every one of their strikes now, but it just seemed like a different layout from my perspective. So our mid boss, we got to see another tank. And this is something that I brought up with my boy Vin. Like, I don't understand why these tanks are so prevalent. Like, they're just it's kind of basic and boring. Like, they had the spider tank in the Devil's Lair strike, right? And then they just took it and put it in Tanix's strike. Just put it in the room. Okay. Take it from outside, put it in a room. Then we have the Valista Oryx strike with the tank in the middle, the Cabal tank. And now they're taking it and putting it into the new strike in the room. So tank outside, tank in room. That's just what they're doing. It's kind of basic. It's kind of boring. And it seems too easy to avoid that thing's shots. I mean, Mr. Fruit just stared at the shot and then just moved a little bit. Whoop, dodge like the Matrix. It's nothing special. And then you get to the bosses, and it's kind of interesting how they fight. So there's two of them. They're brothers. And one has his own abilities. The other has his own abilities. And you're in a circular room, so there's nowhere to really hide. There's nowhere to cheese and hide. So you're just always in combat. You have to beat them. And it's kind of cool because they kind of benefit each other. And then there's like little mobs around them and stuff like that. It's really nice. And I think that when one dies, the other gets his abilities. I'm not really sure, but I think that's how it works. And that just makes it really beast. Because if you want to take one out really fast, then the other is just going to be supercharged. So you kind of want to get them both down at the same rate, so you won't have an uncontrollable problem at the end. That's terrible for a Nightfall strike. If at the end you manage to die, that would be terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad strike. It seems really cool in comparison to what we've seen, but once again, it's just a strike. But we did manage to see the sword in action. At first, when Mr. Fruit was showing his layout, he was scrolling down and then he was like, just skip the sword, pretended it wasn't there. And that made the dude on his, I'd say his left, I think, yeah, his left, laugh. Because, you know, this has been teased to us since they've been doing this whole thing. And then at the end of the strike, we got to see it in action. It wasn't really utilized to its full potential, obviously, because he was just blocking. There was no actual swinging of the sword or anything like that. He was just blocking, and he said that he ran out of ammo. So that means you cannot block forever. So it's better against elements that are not the one that you're using. I think he was using an arc sword. So since he was facing off against a solar cabal, it wasn't doing damage to him really. But he ran out of ammo, and that's when the sword just swoop gone, and then he got everyone ready to just handle the guy. One last thing I wanted to note were the weapons being used. Now, Mr. Fruit was using a sniper that had a sight that wasn't preferred by me. I don't like when snipers look like that. I have a certain taste in snipers when it comes to Destiny, and this didn't fit the mold. Maybe it makes more sense for PvE, but it just did not fit the mold for my PvP tendencies. So we got to see his hand cannon, and it just looked like a nice looking legendary hand cannon. It wasn't too fat like a lot of the hand cannons I see are. It was kind of slender, and you know, it was on the nicer side. I kind of liked how it looked. And then we saw a fusion rifle in action, and it was just nothing special. Like looking at a fusion rifle, seeing it in a PvE scenario, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. There's just something about it that just says, no, just no. And then the last thing that I really wanted to note was the scout rifle in this dude's hand. And this scout rifle was dope. It was dope on dope on dope, because on the side, I was watching it. The liquid on the side, like there were some bubbles on the side, and the liquid just started to drop as he shot. And that just is an indication that as that liquid goes down, your ammo is going down. And once it's empty, you have to reload. And I think that is amazingly cool. So is it like literally making rounds? Like, I know that's probably not going to be its perk or anything like that, but just the technology side of it, just the lore side of it, I guess. Are you making liquid into bullets? Are you just like refilling the mag with the liquid that is gonna fill it up, and then it just manufactured its own bullets inside? Yo, that just sounds so dope, and I love the sight of it. It was just a really cool gun, and I can't wait to get my hands on it or any version of it or anything that looks like it. I like that liquid on the side. That just sounds so cool. But yeah, that's about everything I discovered in this stream. Tell me if you found anything I didn't. But I will be talking about the new subclasses in particular separately in different videos, because I actually want to add in my sense, like what I would do in PvE scenarios, which perks I would line up with once I get my hands on them. And this is me not having any experience with them. This is just me just hypothesizing, and I hope to see you then. And I also hope you'll like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll catch you in the next one.